Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at more petty revenges. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. So, I don't know the full story, but I do know the gist of it. My grandma raised her kids with love. She practically spoiled them, and she raised her grandkids too, me and my two sisters. Two of them, my uncle and my dad, became addicts, and the last, my aunt, became estranged. I've got tons of relatives, so I don't know if I've ever met her. If I have, I don't remember her face or name, so let's call her Little Miss J. Jay left without looking back and constantly asked my grandmother for money. She hardly repaid grandma, which was a big mistake because, surprise, surprise, my grandma was on top of every penny that she had. She was the best I've ever seen when it came to handling funds. But 2 years ago, my grandma was diagnosed with cancer. She worked her butt off her whole life, was the strongest woman on the planet, and nobody got by without paying her their dues. Eventually, my grandma dies. In her will, she gives money to my grandpa, my dad, my uncle, me, and my sisters, everyone in her family. But when it comes to Jay, she says, "You still owe me $14. I don't know if she actually somehow debted Jay $14 in a will or just put it in there for a little slap in the face. All Jay was worried about when grandma died was the money, and she got none of it. I can't be prouder to have a grandma that wouldn't leave this world without the last laugh." That's amazing. Imagine you just being there for the reading of the will, expecting to get some money, and then you just get, "You owe me $14, bitch." Honestly, it just sucks sometimes for an older person to die and all the kids are there just for the money. You didn't come when they were sick, you didn't come to look after them, but now that they're dead, you guys are all here together to get the money. Crazy, ain't it? Let's start with the fact that my brother's wife and I do not get along. Never have, never will. It's mutual, both fault and feelings. Also, she's very sensitive about her age. What she failed to realize is that I'm not. Skip to my 30th birthday and my mum throws a party, including my brother and his family. They have 4 kids, 5, 4 and 1-year-old twins at the time. The kids are playing, we're eating cake. Everyone is getting along and the wife calls over the 4-year-old to whisper something in his ear. Immediately the kid comes to me and yells, "Auntie, guess what?" "What, kiddo?" "My mum says you're 30 now and that's old." My face lit up. I delightedly answered, "Yes I am, and do you know who's a whole 3 years older than me?" Wide eyes, shaking his head. "Your mum." Everyone except her had a good laugh. What? What's wrong with this mum, honestly? The fact that she was like, "Let me just make fun of her age." How are you gonna make fun of someone's age when you're older than them? Stupid. Alright, next story. My stepmom was a nasty woman to grow up with. Mean, vindictive, and had an inferiority complex that she used to attack anyone who was doing well, especially those doing better than her. My dad spent my childhood over the road, and my mum was in and out of inpatient facilities until she passed. So, a lot of my time was spent with her being my only available carer or guardian. I won't lie and say I was perfect, but I wasn't bad. Good student, involved in community and school activities, and as soon as I could work, I got a job. My biggest issue was that I often took an attitude with her and her family, all of whom sucked to be near. These people have been in my life since I was 4. I am now in my late 20s and not one of them were very supportive or kind. I had aspirations to go to school and be a psychologist, a teacher, a therapist, a veterinarian. Honestly, I think I just liked the structure school offered and wanted to continue with it after graduation. But as soon as I was handed my diploma, my stepmom handed me a notice to vacate the property. Less than a month later, I was gone. To be fair to him, my father did try to intervene and prevent the eviction since it was his home, but she was the main occupant in the house and we were informed by a local cop that she could in fact remove me from the home and press trespassing charges if I ever came back. To this day, I think he was likely full of crap but didn't want to deal with it. So I was 18, homeless and supposed to start college a few months later, and I had chosen a local school and rejected better scholarships so I could stay home and save money on housing. I found a place with a man that became my best friend, and I did try to attend school, but honestly it just didn't feel right anymore. Between full-time work just to scrape by and the mental health issues that arose in the aftermath, I couldn't continue and dropped out. My dad was unable to offer much support, and most of my family never cared to intervene since she had convinced the majority of them that I had chosen to basically go no contact with them. She would call and gloat about how hard the real world is, making snide comments about my dying mother, and in the same breath offer sympathy and support if I came back home. At holiday dinners, she would tell everyone I was the first psychologist she'd ever seen working at McDonald's, and if I defended myself, I would be told off for not taking a joke. It was humiliating, and after a few years I realized I could block her and she couldn't do anything about it, so I did. My life did turn around. I work at a pastry chef in a bakery I adore and would love to buy someday if the owner will let me when he retires. It's not a life I ever imagined for myself, but it's a good one that I share with my fiance and I wouldn't trade it for anything. In the past 2 years, I resumed contact with my dad and as a result, his wife again. He's still a doormat and she's still mean, but she's not picking on a little girl anymore and I bite back now. I've also managed to contact my mom's family, who has been estranged from her for decades before she died. I met people who could have truly loved me if they had known I existed. Dad's family are kept at arm's length, but I finally have a family that I can talk about when my friends are discussing holiday plans, and that's all I ever wanted. Doing what I do for a living, I always show off a bit at family gatherings, and I've often made custom cakes for relatives when asked. Boundaries have been established, and after the first cousin who tried pushing them found herself without a cake on her son's birthday, they are respected. Stepmom hates my job. She hates that I'm happy, that I don't care if I'm a bit plump, that I'm engaged and she's not allowed near the wedding. She hates that I'm good at what I do, and try as she might, the only thing she can ever insult is a fondant, which fair, I don't care for it either. At my dad's birthday party last month, I baked a lovely 3-tier red velvet cake for him and provided numerous pastries as well as a cookie buffet. My boss is a godsend for letting me use his industrial kitchen to make it all. Day of, all Stepmom could say was my cake tasted like a box mix, and that was it. 2 decades of abuse and I was finally done trying. I spent days making everything I provided, all free of charge, and she compared my labor and knowledge to Betty Crocker. No shame to anyone who bakes or likes Betty or any other box mix, but it's like comparing fast food to your own home cooking and the fast food being preferred. A total slap in the face to the hours of labor and effort, and years spent perfecting recipes. She asked me at the beginning of February to bake her a cake for her 50th. No other details other than she didn't want red velvet, and it was for 100 people. I agreed. I stocked up on Duncan Hines and canned frosting, slapped the frosting on the sheet cakes a day before and didn't bother decorating any of them. Stepmom was livid. I ruined her birthday, embarrassed her in front of her friends and family. How could I be so callous, etc. I just told her she compared my cake at Dad's party to Betty Crocker, so she must prefer low-effort cakes. I left shortly after she started crying. Apparently, she had planned on Instagramming the party and had planned on my normal quality of care for my desserts. Dad didn't care. He just said it was best if I'm not around her for a bit and we meet up somewhere other than his house. I don't want to be near her again and I hope her family choked on that dry cake. Dang. Good on them, honestly. About time they stepped up to their freaking annoying stepmother. What's wrong with this stepmom, man? Like, mind your own business. Why do you always have to be in someone's business? Be mad at someone for being happy. Oh my gosh, those people just suck the life out of other people, man. Just because you're unhappy with your life doesn't mean you gotta try to make someone else's life like yours. Like, yours is already bad. Alright? So just live in your bad life yourself. Jeez. When I was in high school, I became aware that 2 girls were copying test answers off of me. I mean, they weren't very good at hiding what they were doing. The one behind me would throw her paper on the floor, ask me to pick it up for her, and then whisper what I had written loudly to the girl behind her. We were using Scantron Seat, so I lightly marked the right answer with 1 line while filling in a random wrong answer completely, but light enough that I could erase it. When I finished the test, I pretended I was reading over the questions again and waited for the girls to turn theirs in. I had about 5 minutes to erase all the wrong bubbles and fill in the right ones. When we got the test back, both girls failed. They asked what grade I got and showed them my A+ with a huge grin. They were so dumb they couldn't figure out how I passed and they didn't. As I remember, I even got at least 1 answer wrong, but our desks were right beside the teacher's desk and he had to know everything that went on. Dude, these girls are dumb. How are you gonna be so obvious? Can you pick this up for me? She circled A on question 3. Seriously? Interesting. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!